Hi folks, how you doing? Welcome to day 12. Oh, coming to halfway. Good on you for getting this far. And it's just so lovely to read your sort of comments. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And sort of the chances are many of you have never met each other before, but we're sort of making this online family of people, and it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. On a Monday evening at 8 o'clock, I've started a Sangha, a mindfulness meditation community where we sit together through Zoom, and we sit and practice meditation together and breathing. And there's regularly 25 people that join every Monday evening, and there's quite a few familiar faces and students that I've taught for many, many years that I can sort of see. And it's been so nice because I haven't seen them for a year now, and just to see their lovely Sawani faces is brilliant. But equally as beautiful is seeing the people who have joined the online Qigong classes that I've never met before. And I feel like I've grown to know them really well through conversations and through emails, through text messages. And they might be in Scotland, or they might be in France, New Zealand, Ireland, Wales. And to put a face to their texts and their messages is so nice, and to hear them speak, it's just a really, really special thing. So that's on a Monday evening if anyone's interested. And I know a couple of you do this already, Heather and Audrey, Jane. So when I see you all saying hello together, it brings a lovely, lovely, sunny, hopeful sense of joy in me. So today we're going to change it up a little bit. So it's the last class of the week, and of course you're going to have 2 days of self-guided practice coming up. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. What I'd like to do now for this class is we're going to start off doing our movement straight away. So if you would like to get yourselves up, if you think, oh, hang on a minute, Dennis going to do a bit of a talk, I'm going to sit down. No, I'm changing it up, keeping you on your toes. So if you just get ready for your practice, if you're sitting down, and then please prepare yourselves and not rely on the back of the chair. Always keeping you on your toes, hopefully. Okay. So we're going to go through the warm-ups that we've done so far, and we're going to go through the form that we've done so far. After that, we are then going to have a bit of a sit down. I'm going to go through the next way of learning Qigong with you, what you've done so far. And then I've got a couple of other little bits that I'd like to share with you before the end of the week. Ease yourself into what I hope is becoming a friendly and familiar posture of Wu Qi. But remember, you can always adjust your posture. And now we're just going to go through a few of those layers, those skills, those techniques that we've learnt to date. So initially we just take all our joints off lock, soft but engaging the thighs. The thighs are like buoys that keep buoyant on the sea. and we ground ourselves. Send your roots deep down into the earth, as far out wide as you can, in front of you, to the sides of you, behind you, underneath you. Now, keeping that connection to the earth, let's just gently come up through the body, just checking in, just making sure there's no joints that are locked. Just checking in to make sure that you don't need to adjust your posture because you may be standing awkwardly or sitting awkwardly. Don't hover too long, just gently come up through the body. And as we come up to the head's the helium balloon. Drop your chin in. The helium balloon just gently floats. Connected to the helium balloon is a piece of string, which is our spine. So as the helium balloon lifts, the piece of string, our spine, is tethered to our tailbone and pelvis. Release any tension in your lower back and buttocks. And what you may feel is just this oppositional force of your pelvis being drawn down by gravity, but that sense that your head's a helium balloon, so your spine is just constantly being lengthened, not stretched, but lengthened. Good. Yawn with your armpits and with your mouth if you want to, because you may have just started yawning as soon as I said that. Yawn with the armpits and just let your arms rest and settle either side of your body, palms facing behind you, space between your fingers, space between your arms and your body, space between your legs. Just feel that there is space there. Now connect your three treasures evenly: heaven, you, and earth. And making sure as your arms are either side of your body, you're not holding your arms through tension in your shoulders. Soften. Good. And just notice. Notice the blue sky of your mind. Any clouds that might pop into your blue sky. And bring your awareness to your breathing to move those clouds. Just mindful breathing. In through your nose, down deep into your belly. Out through your nose. We just notice whether the joints lock out, whether we run off with our thoughts. Just come back to standing in Ruchi or sitting in Ruchi and breathe. Supported by the outer ocean. Good. So from here we're going to use the thighs, the belly to gently start to shake. Let yourself go with your shake, no inhibitions. Move your body with your shaking. We want to discover any areas of tension and use the shake to try and sort of shake it out. Not vigorously, gently. Remember, this is a daily practice. So because we practice this daily, it's topping up on the day before. It's adding to the wax and the wick of your candle. So if you're sitting down, remember you can shake limb by limb. We can tilt to the side, all of us. And let's tilt forward. Release the tension in your face. Let your cheeks wobble. And back up again. Well done. So now we're going to transition into the slosh. Widen your stance. Good, and use the gentle flow, the ebb and flow. Try and make it as effortless as you can. So don't go too far to one side, just 70%. You will have to bend your knees a little. Each time we do this, we gently are sitting in to the kwa. Subtly, but it's there. Yi Dao, Qi Dao, use your mind to lead and guide your inner ocean all around your body. Getting a sense of emptying one side and filling the other, and then returning to the other side, filling that side whilst the other side empties. Emptying and filling. Good. Well done. And now we're going to transition into the first swing. Bring your feet to a hip width stance using your lower dantian. to swing gently, really gently. Keep your joints off lock. Just ensuring that your knees are always pointing forward. Feel the gentle spiraling through the body. Remember, always tailor-making your movements to how you are now in this very moment, not what you did yesterday or the day before and thinking, oh, I did that, I can get back there. No, only work to how you are today, whilst you are practicing. Good, and if you can, do this nice and slowly. As you swing left, look left. As you swing right, look right. Don't go too fast, because this can sort of sway you a little bit, put you off balance. But it's really good just to engage your neck. Keep your eyes open as you do this. Wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to transition into the second swing. This is where we use the kwa to turn the leg out. Okay, so slow it down. If you need to just pause so you can get the right posture, you do that. 70% shifting of weight down one leg, pivoting over the heel so we don't do the splits. Open, come back, shift weight, open, pivoting the heel. See, I'm putting my hands here just so I can feel opening is coming from my kwa. I'm happy doing that. So therefore, I just add the swinging arms in. Go as slow as you need to go. Make sure you shift weight before you open up the kwa to turn your leg out. Keep yourself nice and long. 3 treasures connected. And keep your knees, both knees, pointing in the direction of your toes. So it's worthwhile just checking down your weight-bearing leg, the foot that's pointing forward. Make sure as you turn your other leg out that your knee is still pointing straight. It hasn't buckled inwards. Well done. Swing 2. And feet forward, just gently, gently. Bring that slowly to a standstill. Good. Now just adjust yourself back into your Wu Chi stand or sitting posture. Noticing any sensations. Let your hands float out in front of you. Discover, feel your chi. Space in the armpits. Let them yawn. So yesterday we discovered pulsing. And remember, pulsing doesn't have to be big. In fact, I encourage just small, gentle, subtle pulsing with the body as we together now do compress in the pearl, all timed with your breathing. So breathe in, the body rises without locking. Breathe out, we sink, we pulse downwards. Gentle micro squat. Good. you're sitting down and doing this, of course, you're not going to get that squatting. You're already sitting. However, you can feel your spine rise and just gently sink, just a bit like an accordion. Puppet hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders, swimming through the thick air. Good. Well done. Next time you exhale, the hands come inward. Turn your palms, face your thighs, fingers point downwards. Movement 2, bend your elbows, and as you inhale, the hands float up to your shoulder nests. As you exhale, they roll away from you, fly away. Pulse, gently let the body lift and open, create space without locking. Breathe out. Pulse, sink, micro squat. Well done, good. Just allowing ourselves to peacefully flow with our movement. Let's go into movement 3. Fingers point down and between your feet now. For peacock fans its tail. Drawing 2 arcs, the body lifts and rises. Make the connection across your rib cage, through your arms to both hands, and back down. Remember, tailor-make the movement so it suits you. Breathing in as you open, breathing out as we sink and pulse down a little. Make sure you're working to 70%. That 70% may well be different to when you started 25 minutes ago. Good. Effortless. Now we're going to transition to movement 4, uphold the moon. Hands out like a T, turn palms. Bend knees to level of toes. First tuck of the pelvis, Crane neck, soften the middle of the spine, lift up, lengthen through the core of your body, don't arch back. Good. As the hands come down, bend the knees a little, level of toes, tuck under, crane neck, soften the spine, create your C shape. Good. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Well done. So now we're going to transition into the fifth movement, swimming dragon. So as the hands come down, we still go downwards. We create the pulse, not tucking under the pulse this time. Hands float out in front of us. One palm faces up, the other faces down at the height, center of your chest. Separate your hands in the direction your palms are. And the body lifts as well. Don't lock the body. Turn your palms once they reach top and bottom, and down we come. Keep your palms facing that direction as the body sinks into its micro squat, opens up out of the micro squat. Turn our palms. Sink. Open. Sink. Open. Good. As we open, we breathe in. Breathe out. The breath changes, but the position of the hands doesn't. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Bring both hands to the center. Both hands turn. And just rest in Wu Chi for a moment. Follow your breathing. Well done. Good, good. Okay. Please, let's take a 5 minutes, sit down, have a rest. So, what I'd like us to do now is do a visual meditation of the form, not our warm-ups, but of the form. So visual meditation is where we sit nice and comfortably. And when I mean sit comfortably, that's your spine straight. So essentially, it's sitting in Wu Chi. Spine straight, helium balloon, connect to the earth, three treasures. Now, with your hands, rather than your hands down to the side, what we can do is just let your hands rest in your lap and let your lap take the weight of your arms So there's no stress or strain in your neck and your shoulders. So a little technique here. To preserve your energy, if you're feeling that you're feeling a little energyless, and you just feel like you just need to preserve your energy at the moment, which is what we should all be doing in this time of year, we can close the hands by placing, if you can, your thumb in the middle of your fist, just like so. And ideally, if you can do this, not everyone can due to hand conditions, but just place your thumb in the center of your palm and just close your fist around it. This acts like a plug to this space here, which is called Lao Gong. Lao Gong is an energy gate where we connect externally with qi and within us. It's how the qi comes in and out of our body, and we have several places on the body. The feet, in the balls of the feet, that area is called Yong Xuan. If those of you who've done Tai Chi before, you might know it as the bubbling spring point. And here is Lao Gong. So quite often you will see me, and I do this but sit like this, and in the evening sometimes I sit like this, or I just fold my thumbs into my palms, and it's a bit like when you see a baby do this all the time when they're growing. It's just that preserving the energy. It's that innate sense they know what they're doing already. We just lose it as adults. Babies are always doing this. So you can do this if that's what you would like to do, just to preserve your energy. So sitting in Wu Qi, I'm going to mention the move. We're going to go from the first movement to the fifth movement of our form. And without moving, I'd like you to visualize yourself doing the complete movement. And this might be trying for some of you. You might think, oh, I can't remember. Well, don't try too hard, but just be comfortable with the discomfort of not remembering, because this is all part of you learning the movements with your mind. And then eventually it will come. And then if it still doesn't come, then just move your hands. Got it. Come back into the visual meditation. But try and use your memory and visualize the movement. So together, let's do compressing the pearl with your breath. Notice the wandering mind. If it wanders, just come back to visualizing yourself doing compressing the pearl, with the pulsing, the breathing, swimming through thick air, puppet arm. Now I'd like you to transition into the second movement, flying hands. I'd like you to move on to movement 3. Peacock fans its tail. Transition into movement 4. Uphold the moon. Transition into movement 5, swimming dragon. Good. If your eyes are closed, just gently open your eyes, wriggle your toes, your fingers, your nose. Good. Okay, so when we come to our live chat a little bit later, I'd be interested to know how you found that short exercise. And I'll say now that it's not always easy. And what it does, it shows us individually where we are finding a particular movement or a particular part of the movement challenging. So that gives us a good inclination of what we need to be working on as individuals. But also it helps us conversely with if we are unable to do a movement due to health conditions, physical limitations, that we can see ourselves do the movement. And that is hugely powerful within itself, hugely powerful within itself. That you visualize yourself doing the movement that still encourages the flow of your inner ocean around your body. It also creates a meditation which allows you to calm, to breathe, and all of these things benefit your health. And it's a lovely, for me anyway, it's a lovely practice to do. And to help you to remember it. And sometimes you may, and we'll find out a bit later on, get caught, think, oh, what's that movement? I can't remember it. Just the very act of you having to delve deep into your mind to retrieve the information of what you're trying to do is going to help you to remember it. Even if you don't remember it and you have to then come out of it and think, okay, now I remember it, and move your hands a bit. Just that act of using your mind to go back and to collect that information is going to help you remember it in itself. It's going to stand out for you. So it's a really, really good technique to use to help you with your Qigong. So now I'm going to ask you, if you're practicing standing, is to stand up, please. And we're going to revisit the leg movement of the second swing. So essentially shifting weight, using your heel to pivot your leg whilst opening from the kwa. Okay, so we're just going to revisit that movement now, not with the swinging arms, just with the legs. So stand or sit in Wu Chi. If you're sitting down and you do this, you might be, please keep yourself safe and always make sure the legs, the front legs of your seat are underneath your center of gravity, so don't go beyond that. And again, if you are sitting down, you don't have a risk necessarily of doing the splits like you do when you're standing up. So you can actually move your whole foot when you're sitting down rather than just pivoting from your heel. So when you're sitting down, perhaps you might want to just try and move your foot and bring it back to that position that you started from. Okay, so let's ease ourselves back into Wu Chi. Good, it doesn't take too long. We've just spent 3/4 of an hour in what we call a Qi state. So let's shift weight. Bring your center of gravity over one side. Don't lean. Soften your knee. Opening from the opposite kwa. Pivot over your heel. Bring it back. Bring your weight over to the center. Other side. Opening from the opposite kwa. Pivoting over your heel. Bring that back. Center your weight. Shift your weight. Sink a little down that leg. Pivot from the heel, always opening up from the kwa. So what you might find is that you rise a little, you sink a little, open from the kwa. Come back, you rise a little, you sink a little. So this is a variation of our pulsing. When you sink a little, the word there being little. Okay, soften your knee. It's making this spring-like leg from the kwa, knee, ankle, engaging the joints. Okay, well done. And bring that back. Good. Shake out. Now, I'd like us to come back to the arm movement of movement 5, swimming dragon. So hands come out, it doesn't matter which hand you have up. If you want to follow me, like I said, sometimes depending on how this is being transmitted through to your screen, it's either mirror image or not, but whatever's more comfortable for you, you do. Okay, so let's just do those movements up and down. Don't worry about the pulsing, we're just focusing on the arm movement. So that hands turn when they reach top and bottom, and as they turn, they slowly start to come back in towards each other. And as they approach top and bottom, they slowly start to turn as they come back into each other. So the hands are going up and down. And I'd like you just to have a play with me now. We're just going to have a game. Rather than your hands go up and down, I'd like you to do this movement, but when your hands part from the center, rather than going up and down, I'd like you to go out to the diagonal. Okay, let me show you. I turn my palms, come back in, and I go out to the diagonal. So rather than up and down, I'm going out to the diagonal. So it's like I'm separating something between my palms, my hands. Turn my palms back to the center. Turn my palms. So my right hand goes to the right, left hand stays to the left. So it's the same movement, but rather than going up and down, I'm going out to the diagonal. Now, if you've got yourself into a tangle and it's like, oh, where am I going? Stop, start again. Whichever hand's facing up, that's the diagonal that you're going to, and the other hand is just opposite. So don't try and correct yourself halfway through a movement. Always start back from the beginning. It's far easier. Turn your palm out. So the hand that's going out and up to the diagonal, palm should always be facing up. The hand that's going down on the diagonal, the opposite direction, your palm should be facing down. Almost like you've got dough in your hands and you're making spaghetti dough. You're making pasta and you're just lengthening the dough back in. We've all seen those films of people stretching the dough, come back, stretching the dough. Okay, good. So this is a bit of play. Wonderful. Back to the center, arms down. And we're going to close out today's movement part of the class. So when we close out, when we've been standing like this for quite some time in a wide stance, and depending on your balance, when we come into narrow stance, sometimes we can feel a little wobbly. Don't come in so narrow that your temptation is that you're over wobbling, you're going to fall. Just come into whatever's comfortable. And even if it means that you're standing and you just bring your feet in just a little bit, just to change from being where you've been through your form to a slightly narrower stance, that's perfect. Okay, and don't feel you have to come in completely narrow if it's challenging your balance. Okay, so let's close together. Nice long extended inhale. Extended exhale, sinking your mind into your lower dantian, building, conserving, the base of your candle. And close. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today and this week. Let's go over to the live chat and I'll try and help you with any questions that you may have. Okie dokie. So I'm just going back into the chat, just seeing who we've got, and hi everybody. It's really nice that you've been able to join. Yes, Audrey, 12 days have absolutely flown by. And Bridget, that's lovely that that you used to practice doing internal qigong whilst you're sort of there floating in a outdoor tub. Yeah, it's especially when it's outdoors and the water is warm and you've got that contrast of the cool air, and if you can just use that supportive and you can really sort of visualize the inner ocean and outer ocean, it's a lovely thing to do, absolutely. So whilst you're perhaps typing some questions that you may have for me, the self-guided practice this weekend, and it's, as I said last weekend, well worth you doing your practice. Remember, this is a habit you're trying to create, and this habit of qigong and mindful living is there not just for you physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It is going to enhance your Jing, your Qi, your Shen. We should not have any problems of allocating a mere 20 minutes for ourselves every day, just for what we want to do. And within that 20 minutes, it could be more, but 20 minutes is sort of that minimum time where you're going to really sort of get your body and your mind working together and starting to relax the body and get the benefits of qigong practice. So, as some of you found last weekend, you perhaps were getting disturbed. Please reiterate to anyone that you may live with, please don't disturb me. Put a sign up on your door saying, do not disturb. And what I'd like you to do this weekend to help us all go forward together when we come to Monday's class, and that will be day 15, is to practice what we've just completed there. So practice the foot movement of swing 2 and that playful diagonal movement that we have not long done. That's in addition to your own practice. So today's class you can come and re-watch if you wish. We started off by doing the whole practice, so there's no sort of fast forwarding or where, what, when, how, who, with. You can literally get there, push play, and off you go, and you'll have yourself around a 20-minute practice to do. And then please remember to do a few minutes throughout the course of your weekend. If you can do it once, twice, 10 times, 20 times, and it's a minute or two of each of this movement and this movement. And of course, you can come back to this catch-up video just to double check that you're doing it right. And we're looking at doing this on the diagonal. And all will come clear on Monday, day 15. When you come to do the form, perhaps you might want to throughout the day, especially I know a couple of people who are on this program are suffering from considerable health conditions, and you're just unable to physically do it. Use the visual meditation as we've just done to help yourself do that as well. So you're not letting yourself down, and it's not a case of I failed. No, absolutely not. You are still part and parcel of this 30 days. You haven't let yourself down. Just use the visual meditation to help you move your inner ocean. When you come to do your practice this weekend, remember you're only setting yourself up for 20 minutes. If you're saying to yourself, I haven't got 20 minutes, then as the old saying goes, if I haven't got 20 minutes for my own self, then I should be able to find an hour. So what that means is if you can't find 20 minutes just for you, then your life is way too busy. You have to give yourself some more time to do some more self-cultivating practice. So 20 minutes is all you're looking for. Okay, and set a time, this weekend, set a time, whatever time that may be. Remember, the later you set it, the more chance you've got of putting it off, or you become tired because you have a busy day and it doesn't happen. So set yourself up with how you want to start your day and do some Qigong. And if you do set yourself a time, stick to it. It's so easy to think, do you know what? I'll do it in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. As soon as you said that, then that 10, 15 minutes can possibly end up being an hour, 2 hours, and it never happens. And if any of the movements you find challenging, practice them. Practice them, and slowly. A bit like yesterday when I mentioned to you about the swimming dragon, and I said just make the movement small whilst you're sitting down, just go through it. It's a bit like you're reciting lines to do a play. You want to recite what you're doing, muscle memory, visual memory, and then become friends with it. The more you practice it, the more you'll become friends with it. If you don't and you leave it alone, it's always going to be this big thing of, I can't do that. And as soon as you start thinking that, then you've already put a barrier up. Okay, so become friends with your movements. Okay, I think we've got a few people here we go. Haley, you love the visualization of the form, really relaxing. It is. I must admit, when I'm sitting here doing it, I have to remind myself that I'm actually teaching, because I could go, it's just a beautiful thing to do. It really is. Lynn, hey Lynn, you love the meditation as well. You could feel the chi moving up and down far more than when you're actually doing the movement. Absolutely. Sometimes we're so focused on doing the movement that the flow of chi isn't as tangible. It's still happening, but it's not as tangible. So therefore, doing these as separate practices is hugely beneficial. So I'm really pleased that you enjoyed that. Audrey, a few connection problems. Okay, so I'm gathering their broadband connection problems rather than physical Qigong connection. You're quite right in what you say. You were once told that the visualization is up to 50% benefit of actually doing the movement. It is. There was some research done on 2 groups of people. There have been lots of research. One that I particularly know of that comes to mind. There was 2 groups of people. I think there were 16 people in each group, and none of them had learned or played an instrument before, ever. The one group were given a keyboard to go away with, and over an 8-week period, I believe it was, they were asked to practice something like the scales, and to continue doing that for X amount of time a day with a physical keyboard. The other group were told to do exactly the same thing, visualizing what they did. They weren't given a keyboard. When the groups came back together after the 8-week period, the group that had no keyboard had 80% of the muscle change and memory than the people with the actual keyboard. So this, and when we visualize, is a hugely, hugely powerful tool. So Patricia, things are falling into place now. You know what the movements are called and you enjoyed the meditation. Great. Yeah, it does. And it's practice, and we'll revisit it, and it's practice, and we'll revisit, and it's practice. And that's the beauty of Qigong. I call it my silent best friend because it's something that I'm familiar with. It's something that I enjoy being with. It's something I can trust in. It's something that's not going to judge me. And in time, you know, I've been doing the form that I'm teaching you now for 20-something years, this same form, these same movements, and not once do I ever get bored of doing it. Every time I come to my practice, it's a new me, it's a new movement. So yes, welcome to things falling into place. Heather, you went into a bit of a trance when you did the movement. Go for a walk. Absolutely. Yeah, it can be. It's a really, really deep practice when we're doing that visualization. I'm glad it's really connected with many of you. And yeah, Patricia, it really is time just for you. We've got to make time just for us, all of us. And if we do have family around us, they need their time too. So, you know, remind each other of that we all need our time. And you can be in the same room as each other, but just be silent. No phones, no music, just time. You could be sitting there doing your visual meditation. Maybe your partner or whoever it might be able to just sit there and just be for a few minutes. And it's really quite a healing time. Great, Diane. I'm really pleased. Again, some positive feedback about that visual of the form. It doesn't mean we just replace the physical aspect with a visual, but it's going to help you to really deepen your whole practice of Qigong. Bridget too, it's resonating with you. That's fantastic. I'm just reading, sorry, Gillian. So yeah, you've been finding it difficult this week due to pain and stiffness. And it is. We have this... We have this pressure that we put on ourselves that we feel like we are failing ourselves and that we are falling behind or we're missing out if we can't do the movements. And which is why I'm introducing this visual meditation to you. And it is why that we work within the 70% rule, that rule of moderation, that even if the day before you were standing, you could do it, but you've had a bad night and you come to this session or whatever day it might be and you think, actually, I'm just feeling a little bit under the weather, let's call it today. Well, you can still sit down and you can visualize doing what you're doing. You can just do 20% of the movement and just rest, wait, visualize, watch, listen, hear, and then do it when you're doing it. You're not letting yourself down. By turning up, by showing up, by engaging, that's all you can ask for. Hayley, yeah, well, welcome to my home. Lucky you don't see what's behind the camera with so many of us here and the dog. It's a tip, but you can't see that. So I can see all the mess behind the camera. But you're more than welcome. I'm very lucky to actually have a large space where I'm able to teach from, because obviously I'm quite tall and I need movement and I need room and I wouldn't be able to do this. So I feel very grateful that I've got this space that I can share Qigong with you. I think now, since the beginning of lockdown last March, I've taught over 400 free classes of Qigong. And that doesn't include the recorded classes and the master classes and everything else. And I think there's another 50, 60 of those videos as well. So that's quite a few hours of teaching. Better balance today, Christine, fantastic. Jackie, agree with your comments, and I'm glad that the swimming dragon is getting a bit better for you. So it looks like the chat sort of come to a natural end, and it's a natural time to finish this session. So this weekend, Set yourself a time, stick to it, rewatch today's class. I've set it out for you so it should be easily accessible. Enjoy it, make it your friend. Take good care of yourselves and each other, and see you soon. Bye-bye.